If you've been comparing office printers for weeks, scrolling through endless spec tables, and still can't tell whether the machine you're eyeing will actually survive a busy workday, this review should clear that up. You're probably wondering if the price tag is justified, if the security features really matter to your team, and whether the extra functions will actually get used or just sit idle. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. First off, let's talk about the kind of environment where a printer like the HP LaserJet Enterprise M528c makes sense. Imagine a mid-size accounting office that prints dozens of client statements every morning, scans piles of receipts for digital archiving, and needs to fax a few contracts before the day's end. Or think of a legal firm that has to keep every document under strict confidentiality while still moving 200+ pages through the workflow each day. In those scenarios, the M528c's all-in-one nature print, scan, copy, fax becomes a real time saver because you're not juggling a separate scanner or fax machine that each needs its own maintenance contract. Now, the hesitation most buyers feel is about the upfront investment versus the day-to-day payoff. The headline says, enterprise grade, which can feel intimidating if you're running a small office of 5 people. The truth is the M528c shines when the volume hits the 2,000+ pages per month mark. Below that, you might not notice the speed advantage or the security layers, and a cheaper laser might look more appealing. That's why I always start by asking, how many pages do you realistically push through each month, and how important is data protection in your line of work? Security is one of the big selling points that sets this model apart from a lot of the cheaper office printers. HP calls it the world's most secure printing. And what that means in practice is a suite of built-in encryption and user authentication options that lock down each job before it even leaves the device. For a company that handles personal data, that's not just a nicito hey, it's a compliance requirement. In my experience, IT departments love the ability to push policies through HP WebJet Admin, which lets you centrally manage who can print what, limit color usage. Even though this is a monochrome model, it still controls high-resolution output and audit usage for cost tracking. If you've ever been stuck troubleshooting a rogue print job that leaked confidential information, this level of control feels like a weight off your shoulders. The 8-inch color touchscreen is another practical feature that many reviewers gloss over. It's not just a pretty interface. It's where you set up scan destinations, choose duplex settings, and launch a faxol without digging into a web portal. In a real-world office, that translates to a clerk who can scan a contract, select a network folder, and send it off in under a minute without calling IT for help. The Touch UI also supports quick access to frequently used settings, which cuts down on the click-through fatigue you get with older models that rely on tiny buttons. Let's talk about speed and reliability, the two things that keep a business humming. The M528c can churn out about 45 pages per minute in mono, which means a stack of invoices can be printed in the time it takes most people to brew a coffee. The enterprise label isn't just marketing fluff, it reflects a design that's built for continuous duty cycles. When you pair that with HP's high-yield toner cartridges, you end up swapping consumables maybe once every few months instead of weekly. That's a hidden cost saver that many small business owners overlook until they're stuck in the middle of a deadline with a half-empty cartridge. On the flip side, there are some practical trade-offs you need to weigh. First, the machine is monochrome only. If your team needs occasional color charts or marketing flyers, you'll have to keep a separate color printer on hand, which adds to space and maintenance overhead. Second, the footprint is sizable. The unit takes up roughly the space of a small filing cabinet. For a cramped co-working space, fitting it into a corner might force you to rearrange desks or sacrifice storage. Third, while the web-based admin tools are powerful, they also demand a certain level of IT competence to set up correctly. If you're a solopreneur without an IT person, the initial configuration could feel like a steep learning curve. So who should hit the buy button? If you're running a department that prints over 2,000 pages a month, needs to keep documents secure, and values a single device that handles scanning, copying, and faxing without juggling multiple machines, the M528c is a solid investment. Think of environments like legal offices, healthcare clinics, financial services, and even university admin departments where compliance and high volume intersect. The built-in security, centralized management, and fast output will pay for themselves in reduced downtime and fewer security incidents. Who should walk away? If your printing needs are modest, say a handful of documents a week, no strict data security mandates, and a tight budget, there are smaller HP LaserJet models or even third-party brands.